A confessed killer for a Mexican drug cartel who is also an American citizen has been released. 17-year-old Edgar Jimenez Lugo served 3 years in Mexico for homicide and other crimes, the maximum sentence for a juvenile. Mexican authorities say Jimenez has returned to the United States to live with his family in Texas. The teen said he was forced into working for a drug cartel when he was 11 years old. Let's bring in Robert Valencia. He is now a research fellow at the Council on Hemispheric Affairs who focuses on Latin American issues. Robert, a lot of people along the border might be confused and perhaps even a bit frightened that there is this self-admitted drug cartel killer who is now back in the United States. How did this happen?
Well, there's really nothing to fear. I mean, he is just in a prevention program or what they call a rehab program in Texas, in San Antonio. He already paid his dues in Mexico. 3 years is the maximum fine or maximum time that a teenager would serve under Mexican justices. So
but again, he's a juvenile, so that's the reason why Mexico said only a few years, but he's admitted to killing 3 people.
Well, the background of the story is the following, is that he was being forced, apparently, he was being under some kind of drugs, that he was kidnapped when he moved to the United States, when his family decided to send him to Mexico. So there's a lot of connotations, the psychological connotations of teenagers being recruited by these criminals in Mexico. And it's not the first time that you see these kinds of stories. We see this type of shenanigans of cartels in Colombia back in the 1990s and 1980s when they forced and they train them not just in the military way but also psychologically.
Is this a trend that we're seeing, the use of younger people by cartels to carry out some of their, whether it's, you know, their killings or passing along the drugs or whatever it is?
It has always been the case, not just transporting drugs as mules, but they are also being part of the rank and file of the Zetas cartel, meaning that they actually are in crossfires with the authorities. One thing that causes it is the unemployment and the lack of opportunities that many youngsters have in Mexico. 7.2 million unemployed youth are currently, you know, under dire circumstances in Mexico.
Well, there are a lot of unemployed youth also in the United States, and that may be some reason why people in Texas may be concerned that this particular young man, who's used to this particular kind of life he had working for the cartel, is he at 17 going to go, I don't know, get a job flipping hamburgers and feel satisfied?
Well, there's no doubt that Mexican cartels have operations in the United States, and there were cases actually where soldiers who came from combat zones in Afghanistan and Iraq had trouble looking for jobs under the as civilians. So there's definitely the problem of unemployment in the United States and the issue of drug operations in the United States. There's no question about that.
Is there any question, therefore, that younger people may be tempted by Mexican drug cartels that are operating in the United States and seek to replicate, I don't know, by providing money or all sorts of different luxury items to young people in order to get them involved?
Well, there's always that sense of empowerment for youth. You know, there's the aspect of money, of course. In Mexico, a teenager can get paid up to $1,800 to kill a police officer, for example. Back in the 1990s in Colombia, and I'm referring to the Colombian case because we've seen this replication of activities by criminal groups where Pablo Escobar in the 1990s paid $5,000 to kill a police officer. So there's always that component of money and power and luxury, as you pointed out. So there's always that the aspect of unemployment among youth that will entice them because they don't find opportunities. They can't find a decent job.
And let's certainly hope that this particular 17-year-old Edgar Jimenez Lugo has in fact been rehabilitated now that he's back with his American family in Texas. So Robert Valencia, research fellow for the Council on Hemispheric Affairs, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.